Cisco Live 2019 Barcelona. So what I always hear from my customers is they want to hear about Cisco, they want to hear the Cisco and Cisco stories, and of course, security is a huge part of that. So I'm thrilled to be joined here by Rich and Marisa. Hi, how are you both doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah,
well,
good, thank you.
Lisa.
So we're here to talk about IT and security. But before we do that, perhaps we can get a quick introduction and what do you do at Cisco?
Sure, my name is Marisa Chancellor. I'm responsible for protecting Cisco. I'm part of our information security organization.
Great.
My name is Rich Gore. I'm in Cisco IT. I've been in Cisco IT infrastructure architecture for the last 20 years or so. And we work very, very closely with our InfoSec partners.
And I think we were having a discussion before, you were saying you've both been here for around 20, 21 years.
Yeah,
so,
long time.
Yeah, great. And Marissa, you were saying your husband's surname. It's quite unique, isn't it?
Well, so, I've been in IT for a long time, and I just moved to the security world about 3 years ago, but had I known what my job was going to be, I would have changed my last name to his, which is Hacker. so I missed the opportunity, yes.
Okay, so let's dive in. So what is the partnership between an IT like, and what are you seeing with some of the customers? What are some of the trends?
Well, when I talk to a lot of customers, and I think Cisco's not unique in having their information security organization separate from the IT organization. It is a true partnership. With other customers, we see InfoSec as part of IT. It's neither good nor bad, but the trend is moving to separating security out. And I think there's an increased focus on security and an importance, and it's affecting brands, so they just want to highlight and bring it up in the organizational structure as well.
The interesting thing to me is that it didn't start out that way, and for a lot of customers that we talk to, it doesn't start out that way.
Correct.
Just because IT is forced to do what the business needs, and we try to do it as quickly as we can and as soundly as we can, but usually security doesn't come into that. And so when we say, here's a really great offering, we really want to do this right now, we got to put it in place, and security says, sorry, it's not secure. We can't expose Cisco to the risk that you're proposing. And so a lot of times, it used to be a very confrontational relationship. What's amazing is it's really become a really true working partnership where you can't separate IT and Cisco and security anymore. I
guess it has to be fully integrated. If you look at across all industries actually, but specifically, for example, I work in media. Lack of security is just not an option in that kind of world. It's the core of their business as well.
It's part of your brand, and I think to Rich's point, if you try to bolt on security at the end, it causes problems with the business, but it's actually more expensive. And so our goal in the partnership is how do we move security left and actually start with security and not try to jam it in at the very end.
Absolutely.
Well, it's also true that we used to be really, really slow. I mean, there's very rarely an IT organization that's considered too fast. And the problem was that, well, no, not the problem. One of the many myriad of problems was that security review was always part of that. So it added extra time to the already slow times that we were doing in providing new business capabilities. So what we had to do to be able to speed this up was to work very closely together so that security was part of every step we made.
Absolutely. So if we look at some of the big kind of trends and things happening in the industry right now, things like AI, things like automation, what is Cisco doing in this space around security?
A tremendous amount of things. For us, automation is critical because the number of attacks has been increasing and the sophistication of attacks has been increasing too at the same time. It's very unfair. But without automation, without an enormous number of layers after layers after layers of defense in depth, we couldn't possibly look at all the different alerts that come around. We have to have automated tools that look at them and then say, this is a real alert, I'm just going to block it automatically. Nobody has to look at it. This is not an alert, we're going to let that all the way through. That's what automation does for us. And then artificial intelligence, well, there's still a few subtle things that get through all of those layers of filters. And there's no human being who can still look at the massive amounts of traffic that we have to look at. I mean, there's billions and billions of packets that go through every hour, and some of them have malware. So we use artificial intelligence tools that are pretty much put together, well, they physically put together by IT, but logically put together by InfoSec to figure out what isn't right, and then to raise the flag and say something has to be done about this one.
I mean, just as a side, we see 1.2 trillion security events on a daily basis. That's 6 times more search queries that Google gets in a day.
That's almost unimaginable. I can't actually think of that amount of breaches.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah. So another thing, another big theme is multi-cloud, of course, everyone's talking about it. How does security work in there, and how is Cisco involved in that space?
I think wherever the business is moving, security has to move along with it. And I know we always talk about moving to the cloud. Companies have moved to the cloud. It's almost 100% of the companies have moved to the cloud, and we're seeing, about 80% of the companies have moved to a multi-cloud environment. And so, you have less control when it comes to the cloud, depending on where you are. If you're coming from an infrastructure as a service, you have more control versus, a SaaS offering. And so the same tenets apply in an enterprise security as do the cloud, but you have to be a little bit more creative because you don't have the ability to maybe put boxes and sensors in different places. And so for us, it's all about how do we gain visibility and how do we then get control over what's happening, whether it's in the application or in the network or in the cloud itself. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but that's what keeps our day job interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So do you have any final advice for customers around security or anything else that you're seeing in the industry that you want to share, any insights?
I think for me it is, you can't protect what you can't see, so visibility, no matter what you're talking about, is absolutely critical. And I just talked to a customer yesterday, and part of the shift that needs to take place is not just around technology, but it's around the culture. And so we use a lot of metrics to help shape the culture of the organization by demonstrating who needs to be accountable for what and how they're doing.
Absolutely.
I think 2 things come to mind, and one is that when IT works very, very closely, intertwined with security, we can operate a lot faster and more productively than we used to. That's one. And the second thing that I get really excited about is the network is now the sensor. There's so many different network points of presence, points of intelligence that can see the traffic coming through. So we're using it to automate provisioning, automate assurance, automate troubleshooting and proactive response. But we're also handing all that information to InfoSec to be able to proactively look for possible malware and be able to see it no matter where it is, anywhere in the network, whether it's encrypted or not encrypted. It's just a tremendous new world.
Yeah, and I love what you said, Marisa, at the start about it's not just something that you throw in at the end in security. It has to be weaved throughout everything that IT are doing and vice versa as well.
Absolutely.
And early on as well is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yes.
So yesterday I had the pleasure, iGream had the pleasure of interviewing Lorena Marciano, who is our Chief Data and Privacy Officer.
Wow.
Yes.
So we're going to roll that video and share that with the viewers.
Welcome, I'm here at Cisco Live Barcelona 2019, and I'm at the security booth right now together with Lorena Marciano, who is our EMEA Data Privacy Officer.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here, really appreciate it, Lorena. I have a few questions on GDPR because I think it's an extremely important topic to our customers. So I just wanted to get a feel on, how are we doing 8 months into GDPR?
I think we're seeing enormous changes globally from our customers, from an enforcement perspective. So from a policy perspective, after GDPR came in, it's been like a major push for all countries around the globe just to get action and get really serious about privacy. We get so many, I think only like in the last 8 months, we've seen like 3 laws being passed and then many others being drafted at the moment that really resemble GDPR. And then from a customer perspective, we just recently issued a study, a Cisco study, where we actually investigated 3,200 security professionals around the globe in a double-blind survey. And we asked them exactly what GDPR means to them. Are they ready for GDPR? And we actually found out that 59% of these 3,200 are actually ready for GDPR, and 29 are going to be ready within the next year. What is interesting, however, is that those are very much GDPR ready are actually also suffering from less data protection breaches and are also experiencing less sales delay, which means that as part of their program, they really invested in security, they really invested in knowing exactly what data that they hold, and in that sense, they're much more reactive in case of an accident, they're even more reactive in case customers come in and ask for questions. And then I said from an enforcement perspective, right? We just saw, and it's the news of last week, we all read it in the news, Google has been fined for 50 million from the data protection from the CNIL, which is the data protection authority in France. And what is remarkable about this, I think, is that the data protection authorities are actually showing some teeth. We didn't expect that, and they're actually using their powers quite fiercely.
Yeah, I think that was a big news, right? Because suddenly it was like, oh, the EU is really serious about GDPR, and our customers might get fines, right? Cisco's also on the spot, but it's like it's putting the whole industry on the spot, and I think it's actually good, right?
No, it's actually good also because at the beginning we're not expecting that they were going to use those powers immediately, and secondly because I think there are many other cases coming up. So this is just really the beginning. So it will be an interesting times, I think, for all of us, also for our customers.
Yeah. And what are the top of minds and top concerns of our customers when it comes to GDPR?
The concerns are always been the same for the last 6 years. They haven't changed given to GDPR. They've just increased in terms of amounts. So they always ask, what data do you have? So when they wanted to purchase products from us, they always ask the same questions. What data do you need from me to run your solutions? Where do you store them? What kind of security assurance you can give me? How are you resilient in case of attack? Security attack, for example. How do you manage your vendors? What kind of protection do you get for your vendors so that I'm sure that even if the data are not with you in Cisco, but with one of your vendors, you're actually protecting them thoroughly. And this is, for me, it kind of goes together with the outcomes of our own survey. The survey shows that indeed companies are not very much GDPR ready. They're experiencing, on an average, 3.4 weeks of delays. And you are in sales, you know this better than me. You kind of want to get that deal done, And then imagine if you have like a month or 2 months or 3 months of delays. Yes. And then, so really, being ready, I've invested in security, which was one of the top concerns of the ones that are not ready. That ones that are not ready are struggling with security, are struggling with the ability to train their people, and actually to understand exactly what they have in their data warehouse, let's call it like this. So again, it's important. So those are really top of mind for our customers, and we're facing that every day, essentially. Okay,
and how would you say Cisco can help our customers with GDPR?
Well, I think we're doing a few things, right? I would say from our portfolio perspective, we're very strong in security. We're able to protect them end to end. So build them not only like a firewall, but actually giving them protection from their data center up to the endpoint, and being able also to help them being resilient, but also being able to catch the malware before it goes into the systems. And I think, and we can do that in clear traffic or encrypted traffic, which is quite amazing. And for a privacy professional like me, it also makes me happy that we can do that in encrypted traffic. And second of all, we're really walking the walk as a privacy team, security team, IT team. All our products, if you go on trust.cisco.com, you can find information about our products, where we explain exactly what we do with the data every step of the way. Actually, today is Privacy International Day. And nice. We're launching a few things.
Congratulations!
One of them, thank you. Thank you. It's been it's always a moment to really step back and think about what we have done. So these years we have the study that we mentioned it before, but also we're launching something called the Cisco Privacy Data Maps. So essentially, every time you want to know how WebEx work from a privacy perspective, or even the security products, the cloud-based one, you go and look at a very simple map that explains you where the data goes from our customers, to us, to our vendors, in a very simple way. So I really encourage everyone, listening to these interviews, really go on trust.cisco.com and have a look and give us also our feedback. That would be really great.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Lorena. I really appreciate this time. I think GDPR is a really important topic to our customers, and it's great to hear these tips and top of minds. I think all of our customers would relate to that. Well, thank you for watching, and we're here again. Please do follow us on Twitter and do tag our posts with CLEUR. And do watch this broadcast on CiscoLive.com. Thank you.